Hello friends, welcome back to the tutorial form validation using JavaScript. In this tutorial series, we are creating a JavaScript to validate a complete form. In the last tutorial, we have attached our all the validation functions to their respective input fields, and we have seen some working, how they will work. In this tutorial, we'll create a function to display the error message directly below the input field, below the respective input field. Till now we are using the alert message, but in this tutorial we'll see how we can create a function to display the error message below the input fields. So let's start. Let's see how we can do that. This is the external JavaScript file that we are using. Let's write a comment first. Here, function displays error message. Now create a function first. Function will name it as display warning. The display warning function will use 3 arguments. Let's see some structure or some logic that we are going to use to create the function. As you know, we are using the bootstrap form structure. In the bootstrap form structure, you can see that the input field is nested in a div element. So this div element is the parent element of our input field. So we'll use this input div element to insert a p tag here below the input field, and using this p tag will display the error message, and all this will be done dynamically using the JavaScript. First, we'll use the ID of the input field to get a reference to the ID of the div element of this div element. Then we'll use this ID of the div element to insert the p tag below the input field. Now let's see how we can do that. The 3 parameters that will be used to display the warning message are: first, the ID of the input field, so we'll call it as field ID. Next is the ID of the div element, so we'll call it as parent div. Next is the message that we want to display. Now we'll call this function display warning from the validating functions, as we have here checkempty and all this. Instead of calling this alert function, we'll call the display warning function. Now let's write it here, display warning. Now we have to pass the arguments. First argument is the ID of the input field, that we will get it from this parameter field ID, as we are passing the ID of the input field. Here you can see check empty, this is the function, and we are passing the ID of the name input field, which is the name, and we'll get it from this parameter. So we can pass directly this ID using the parameter field ID to the display warning function. So pass it like this, display. Next is the ID of the div element. So we can use a property parent node to get the parent element of any element, and then we can use the property dot id to access the id of that parent element. So we have to make a little adjustment in all our functions to use this method. This my value function has the reference to the value of the input field. So we'll just make it like this, remove this value and make this value, write this value here. So this my value variable has reference to the input field, not to the value of the input field. So we can use that reference to get the id of the parent div element. Value my value dot value is equal to the value that we have here. Now we can use this variable to get a reference to the parent div element of the input field. So like this we can use that my value dot parent node dot id. Now this gives the id of the parent div element. Next is the message that we want to display. Message is you cannot leave this empty. Now this passes all the required arguments to the display warning function. Now let's see how we can use these arguments to do our work. First we'll create a p tag using the document.createElement property. First variable para is equal to document dot create element. The type of the element that we want is p element. Now we'll use this para variable which has the reference to this p element. We have created the p tag here. Now we'll create a text node to write this message. Variable error message is equal to document dot create text node. Text node is the message, so pass that parameter here. Now we'll insert this text node into this p tag using the append child property. Para dot append child, and the child will be error message. Now we have inserted the message into the p tag. Now the work left is we have to insert this p tag into the div element. Now we have a reference to or we have the id of the parent div element in this parameter. We'll use that here. Document dot get element by id. Id is the parent div, then dot append child, and child is the para. Now this will insert the paragraph into the div element which is below the input element. Now let's save this and see how it will work. Refresh the page. Now focus, and as I remove, you can see the message is inserted below the input element. Now in this way we can insert messages directly below the input field. So in this way we can do the work. In the next tutorial we'll give some styles to this error message, and also we'll see how we can improve this error message displaying function. So we'll leave the tutorial here. Please subscribe to my channel, and also if you have any doubt then comment below the video. Thank you for watching. We'll meet in the next tutorial.